being a hero is, I think being a hero is touching a life. It's saving a life. Saving a life could be the doctors, obviously, and it also the teachers, because at the end of the day, the teachers save lives because they feed into the children. They plant those seeds. Seeds, and they plant those seeds of goodness.
Hello, I'm Lisa Wisner, and I am so excited that you are joining us on Power Up Hero. I want you to be a hero of your story, and that's why we created this show. This show is all about celebrating everyday Power Up heroes. It's about living a powered up life. Because let's face it, living your best life and juggling a busy workload can be close to impossible. I mean, sometimes it can feel like you have to pull superpowers from who knows where and climb some unimaginable mountains to get it all done. This show is about celebrating our change agents, not only change agents for themselves, but for their families and for their communities. And throughout this show, I hope that you will learn how you can become the best version of yourself. Our guest today is an award-winning early childhood educator. She has been teaching technology to youth for over 10 years. She has been named as the winner of an Elementary Teacher of the Year award and a nominee for this national award. She is a leader in educational technology, and she provides new approaches to motivating students of all learning styles to succeed with technology. I want to introduce you all to my sister. Yes, this is my sister I'm talking about, Annie Mucheru. And I can tell you from a young age, Annie has not only been a shining light, but I believe she was born and raised to be the type of person who pours into our youth. The way she lives her life, the way she runs her business, and the way she educates our youth is truly why she was nominated as our Power Up Hero. Welcome to the show, Annie.
Thank you.
Can you believe it, Annie? You know, I think people sometimes they say, when you have family, how can you bring your family on the show? And let me tell you, for me, how could I not bring you on the show? And I'm pretty sure after that introduction, the fact that you're my sister and you're on this show, you could have been on anyone's show. And in fact, you have been on many shows, and you've been written up in magazines, and you've been celebrated as a change agent in our community. And as your sister, you don't know how proud that makes me to have you in the scope of my DNA. So we share the same DNA, and I'm with you, and you just live your life like that. So Annie, this is a show about being a hero. So tell me, what is your superpower?
Loving people.
Oh, I love how you said that. So tell me more about that. What does that mean?
Well, I think the way the world is going today, especially today, I think it's so important to listen to people because everybody has a history. I think it's important to give people your time more than anything because you don't know where they've come from or what they're dealing with even at that moment. And like I said, with what's going on in the world today, we need more love. We need more interaction with each other. And I feel like that's going away. And I find that a lot of people just like to talk. They like to talk about anything. And that is giving them their time and just giving them an outlet. And I find that when you talk things out, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be about your day. It could be about your child. It could be about you going to the grocery store. It makes a difference in a person's life. Just giving them your ear just for that moment makes a big difference in a person's life. And I think that a lot of times today we tend to not trust people.
Yeah, I agree.
And even when we get burned by people, it puts a damper on you and you think, well, I'm not going to do that again. Or when you see things on social media, because you see so much on social media, it makes you think, man, maybe I should put my guard up. But I think we need to teach our kids, and we also need to give out love more than we did ever before.
And I know what you're saying, it just makes sense because if, let's say somebody hurts us, right? We immediately go to the space of, I want to protect myself.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to treat even maybe other people a little differently because I had a negative experience with one person, right? And so I like how you said that your superpower is love because I had put that your superpower was teaching. So I think there's something there, right? And I was reading a few articles that were written about you, and you said something about teaching being a rewarding job. Can you tell us about that? Why did you say that?
Well, teaching is rewarding because first of all, you're teaching, and when you're teaching something, obviously the child or the person that you're teaching it to, they don't know what you're teaching. They're learning. So it's rewarding because one, it's not easy, and two, every person learns different. I want to say child because I deal with children mostly than with adults as far as teaching goes. It being rewarding is the fact that every child learns differently. Yes. And so therefore, you might be able to approach math or reading or technology or whatever it might be, or a song in one way, but the other child learns it in a different way. So the reason why it's rewarding is because at the end of the day, when you see the results that you accomplish after the fact, after you've put in all the work, that's when it's extremely rewarding, because you've been able to touch or to affect each child that learns differently, and get the same, I guess, somewhat the same results, because they've learned, but you've had to figure out, okay, Jack learned different than Susie, so you maybe had to use a video to teach Susie, and with Jack, you had to sit with Jack one-on-one, play with Jack, and then in a week or in a month or in a day, it's like, look at what so-and-so can do. And so that's why I find that teaching is extremely rewarding.
Yeah. So I was just looking at your website, and it says we play, learn, and grow together. And your mission is to raise the profile of preschool education, providing technology for young people. I have to tell you, I really love that, because I work for the city of Corpus Christi, and I'm always thinking for our city, for Corpus Christi, how can we level up the leadership? And I've always believed that it starts from the beginning, from the blueprint, right? From when you're a child, the blueprint you have of not only your life, but your community. That's what it means, right? Yeah. So as you're doing your teaching, I think, I want to celebrate you for being the creator of the workforce for tomorrow, because it seems like, in this day and age, and in fact, COVID has taught us, if you're not using technology, you may become irrelevant. Right?
Yes.
So just, tell me a little bit about how, we are calling you a PowerUp hero. In this scope, what does being a hero mean to you?
Gosh, a hero there's so many parts to a hero. Today we look at doctors and nurses to be heroes, which is odd, because we should have always looked at them as heroes. We also look at teachers as heroes, because and we're seeing them more today. It's like, I see you, teacher, but we're seeing them more today because of COVID. And I know COVID is not something to be
downplayed. I guess
not to be downplayed, but to be not something to be lifted up. We should, but at the same time, how we say, is your cup full? Is your cup half empty? Look at COVID as something that has opened up our eyes to see things that we weren't seeing before. Yes. So being a hero is touching a life. For me personally, I think being a hero is touching a life. It's saving a life. Saving a life could be the doctors, obviously, and it also the teachers, because at the end of the day, the teachers save lives because they feed into the children. They plant those seeds. Seeds, and they plant those seeds of goodness. And those seeds of goodness transition, and they transition later, and it's a snowball effect, because at the end of the day, once they leave the classroom, once they leave the school, it's whatever's been injected in them. It's whatever seeds have been planted in them. And it could be their preschool teacher, it could be their college professor, but there's a voice. There's that voice that's always ringing. And I'll tell you one thing, when it comes to me, I try to, I might not be the person who has the effect on my student, but I really try to say things to them that one day they'll be remembering. It might be in their office when they're an attorney, or it might be in the doctor's office, or when they're doctors, but I want them to know, our motto is, I can do anything if I put my mind to it. And I'm sure people have heard that many times, said in different ways before, but I kind of always want that to ring in their heads when they are challenged. So to me, a hero is a person who touches a person's heart, who's able to touch a person's heart and able to, and that touch transcends to different areas of their life. And when I say different areas of their lives, not just them, it could even touch their children. Because if I put education, the importance of education in my students, guess who else is going to have that, instill that same value in their children? My students are it's like that snowball effect. So to me, a hero, and going back to the doctors, when they heal their patients, let's say it's a mom, didn't they save a child's mom, or didn't they save a child, somebody's dad or grandma? It's a snowball effect. So a hero is a person who touches a heart. Look at them. If we're talking about heroes, we always thought firefighters are heroes, police officers are heroes. And why are they heroes? Because they touch people's hearts. They save lives. And that's, to me, is a hero. A hero is a person who touches your heart.
Touches your heart. A person, maybe they have strength for 2, for 20. And it's just the compound, right? You don't know that one life you saved, that one kid you taught, that one parent that you gave a nice, warm, heart-held conversation with. You don't know how that snowballs to them having a good experience in the evening with their family, and it just snowballs into their job. It snowballs into the community, right? So I think what I'm hearing you say is a hero can be anyone.
Can be anyone, and it's a hard, it's a hard job, because heroes have to do the hard things that other people don't want to do. Like when it comes to kids with special needs, teachers have to figure out how to let a mom or a dad know your child is struggling in this area, and they might be struggling right now, but if you give them this help right now, it'll help them later. That's not easy. That's not easy. And I've been there with my own children. That's not easy to do for a teacher. It might come across as it's easy to whoever the teacher's telling, but it's not easy. For me personally, it takes days and it takes weeks of restless, sleepless nights. And I'm telling myself, if I don't do this, I'm not going to help my student.
Yeah.
Same thing goes to the doctor. Same thing goes to many other professions where it's a hard job. And at the end of the day, somebody has to do it.
Someone has to do it. So how did you get started in this role of teaching? Because I know you, Annie, so you're my younger sister. So I've been living with you, I guess, pretty much my whole life, your whole life, right? No, not my whole life, your whole life I've been living with you. So I know you started off studying business, and then, actually you started with music. I forgot.
No, business.
You started with business. Then, okay, so tell us, how did you land here with education?
Well, I started with business administration at Del Mar Community College, right? And so I'm going about my business, no pun intended. And then I have a love for music. I've always had a love for music. And so I thought to myself, follow your passion, follow your dream. So I decided, hey, I'm going to try music. So I changed my major to music, not thinking that, first finish your, what are they called? Your prerequisites? Yeah, first finish your prerequisites, and then, then figure out which path you're going to take. So anyway, I changed to music, I was almost graduating with a music education degree. I was so close. I think I was one semester away. But theory was my downfall. I failed theory a lot. I failed music theory. I sing. I have a background in singing, but I don't have a background in
theory. The theory
in music, because when you think of music, there's a lot that goes into music. It's not just singing, but to me, I was thinking, I can sing, so I'm gonna go and sing. And nope.
For those of you listening, you got a little preview. So maybe later in the show, you'll give us a preview. I'll let you think about that. Okay, continue.
So then, I decided this is just not working out. I'm just going to go back to music, to business. Here's what happened. I needed to finish. Basically, I needed to finish my education. And then I had a little girl. I had my oldest daughter, Journey. And after you have a child, you're not living your life for yourself anymore. I mean, stuff. Let me just put it this way: stuff gets really real. Reality check hits. So after I had Journey, I graduated from Del Mar in months. Like summer semester, I enrolled. I had Journey, stayed home for 9 months. Decided you know what? You started something, you need to finish it. Enrolled back into Del Mar. Within a summer, graduated. I enrolled in the summer, quick, and had graduated in August.
You are a maniac, Annie. Can I just say that?
I mean, it was like, hello.
Crazy mode. Boom, I'm done.
I'm going to say this for those that have not finished or those that are taking forever to finish. It took me a long time. So can you imagine? I was almost done with my music degree and I had already failed some classes, so I had to retake them or dropped some, and so I had to retake them. So it had taken me, this is for those that feel like, okay, it's never going to end. It ended when I put my mind to it. Basically what I tell my students, when I put my head down and I focused, and I got done in the summer. And even in that time, I enrolled into A&M. So while I'm finishing Del Mar, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get into A&M and get that done as well.
Okay, so let's first unpack an epic quote you just said. You finished when you put your mind to it. And I may be misquoting you because you just said it, so we'll find it later in the recording. Can I just say that that's epic? Because before you are focused, you are just cruise controlling, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as you became focused, do you feel like you even accelerated? Because I think you just said that at the same time you hadn't even graduated and you were already enrolling at A&M.
Well, I mean, it put a fire in me, yeah. You know, the focus, it's, honestly, I don't know what happened. I can't even, you say you remember, I don't remember. All I know is I got done with Del Mar and I was already, I had a job at A&M, thanks to you helped me, but at the same time, I wanted these things to happen. I was like, because you can tell me or I can tell you to do something, but at the end of the day, if you're not wanting to do that, it's not going to happen. So anyway, so the truth is, I guess it's that focus.
Mm-hmm. I usually say where focus goes, energy flows.
That's so good, Liza. When focus goes, energy flows. And I was hungry. I think I was so hungry and just done with being so unfocused.
Mm-hmm.
When you're frustrated with being frustrated, I was frustrated with myself. I was over myself. Like, can I just
with being frustrated?
Yeah, I left myself behind, and I just I said, you know what, you want to hang out over there at the cafeteria or do whatever with your buddies, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get my life.
The better version of this is the thing, Annie. I'm always telling myself to be the best version of myself. And what you're saying is so true. I see the best version of me. That version of me who is like you now, who woke up and said, you, Lisa, who likes to hang out in the cafeteria. See you later. I'm moving, right? We all go through that. So give me maybe 1 or 2 challenges that you went through, because it sounds like there were some challenges in your way that helped you face to the focus.
The challenges, okay, so I don't know if this is a challenge, but having a child, I don't know if that's a challenge, but like I said, I always believe our children don't ask to be born. That's my take on life. So the fact that they are here, it's our job to care for them and give them the best life that we know how to give them. And so therefore, that was my number 1 challenge, is to figure out, my challenge was to figure out, how am I going to be an example to my child? How am I going to be that example that I want her to be? How am I going to show her that, yeah, I made it here, but girl, you're going to make it here. And how am I going to do that? By having blank hours of college, So that was my number 1 challenge. My other challenge was within self. I think myself, self-doubt, also, I don't know if I would say embarrassed, because coming from a household where, first, I'm the last born, 6 in our family, and everybody's graduated. What am I doing? what are you doing? And at the same time, I have a mom, or we have a mom that took care of us. Like, you know what I mean? She paid for our education. She paid for our education without hesitation. So what are you doing? Get your act together and get serious. So that was, I think, all of myself. A challenge was myself, doubting myself. I had self-doubt. I was embarrassed at the fact that it had taken me this long. But before I don't know why those things weren't phasing me before that moment. So maybe that was just my moment. Everybody has their moment. There's a time and there's a place for everything. And maybe that was my moment. So those were my two challenges. I'm trying to think if I had any. I don't feel like I had any other challenges that I faced.
Tell me about when you went to A&M, because you said something about enrolling in A&M. So did you end up going to school at A&M?
I ended up going to school at A&M. I started off with my business finance degree. I spoke to my brother, and he suggested, why don't you graduate with business, why don't you do, I needed a focus. I could have gone for business, but I decided, he said, try finance. So I tried finance, but the truth is I had challenges because I wasn't happy within as I'm taking the classes. As I'm taking the classes, I couldn't see my future. I couldn't see where I was gonna fit, what I was gonna do. I could work anywhere. Anybody can work anywhere with a business degree. Basically, you can work anywhere with any degree. I just couldn't see it. So anyways, I had a little breakdown. I had a little breakdown where I couldn't take it anymore. I felt lost, and I called you. Remember, I was sitting in my van, and I called you, and you showed up because you worked at the university as well, and you suggested that I go visit Count. You asked me, if you had $1 million, Annie, right now, what would you do with it? And I had no answer. I didn't know. I guess it's like the hamster that runs on the wheel. I was just, when I enrolled at Del Mar, I lost energy. I don't know what happened when I'm not Del Mar, when I enrolled at Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. I don't know what happened to that momentum that I had when I was at Del Mar. Anyways, long story short, you told me to go see an advisor, and I did. I don't remember his name, but I wish I did, because
is it the one at the College of Education?
Yes, and he's very well.
Bailey.
Yes. And I know he moved from there to nursing, I believe, after a few years.
Yes.
And you suggested me, because I believe there's more than one advisor. There's quite a few, but you told me.
There's many, but let me tell you, Annie, even in this world where people have occupations, you could be a doctor, you went to school for it, and you know how to do your job, but people don't refer their friends to you for a reason. Because you may have a profession, right? So there's many people who want to do something, but then, you said your power was love, right? I referred you to Barton because I can tell you just from my experience, and he had never advised me. I wasn't in College of Education, but just when you meet people, do you understand? When you meet someone,
I would have never thought.
Yeah.
I thought he was your advisor.
No, I wasn't in College of Ed. I was in SNT, the Science and Technology.
Yes.
But I remember meeting Barton and just, being at the university and knowing him and knowing the way you were, you needed Barton. I don't know if you understand what I mean, how you would know somebody needs someone.
He was perfect. Yes. Well, I went to see him and I told him, I'm just confused. I'm lost. So we did an aptitude test, and I believe 90 something came out education. So he said, you know what, try it. He didn't put any pressure on me. He said, I'll enroll you into these classes. We made a plan. Okay, something that I didn't have before. Hey, that's something else maybe we should tap into, because you should always have a plan.
Yes.
And I didn't have a plan. Or I couldn't see my plan. You know, where you're seeing your end game.
Yeah.
I didn't have a plan.
Like if you're going to go to Colorado, I always say Colorado, like I don't know idea why. But if you're going to drive to Colorado, you don't just say we're going north. You go on Google and you find a map and you follow the map, and then it takes you there. So he gave you your map of how to finish.
He gave me my map, but he didn't even say that. He said, try these classes or try this class.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel the same way, come back and see me. And even mid-semester, come back and see me. We'll redo this again. We'll figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind, no judgment. Meaning that if I feel like this is not working out, I felt comfortable that I can come see this gentleman and he won't judge me. He won't think, oh, here we go again. So I did. But let me tell you, the class I enrolled in, that was it. I was sold. I did not turn back. I just kept going and go. I went and enrolled in more classes and in more classes and in more classes.
More classes in the College of Education. Is that what it is?
College of Education.
Okay.
Yes. Made great friends, amazing professors. It just felt right. It felt fun. It felt like I was going to make a difference when I'm done. It felt like I could not wait to get into the classroom. And it felt like I never thought myself to be creative, number one. But I couldn't wait to be creative in the classroom, even before I had stepped into the classroom. So that's what happened. And after I graduated, and so I did my field base, and then I did my student teaching, and I graduated.
I love it, Annie. And then now you have a business, right? So tell me about Little Texas Techies.
Well,
Imagine yourself, and how did you come where you are at?
Well, Little Texas Techies started off when I was at A&M, because I was teaching for you. You had started Little Texas Techies because you had a vision of you had a vision of providing not education but technology to low socioeconomic communities where children don't have access to technology, and even if they do have access to technology, it's at an older age and they're behind. You wanted to give them a step ahead. So anyway, I was teaching for you because you were working at the university and you needed somebody to teach.
Yes.
So that's how Texas Techies started. And so fast forward to me after graduating, I got a job at Garcia Elementary. I taught kindergarten, I taught first grade, and then I got moved to fourth grade. In fourth grade, I got Teacher of the Year, which was my third year of teaching. I'd never heard of Teacher of the Year. I think, I of course I had heard of Teacher of the Year because we used to vote for the other teachers. But I mean, I'm just voting. I didn't know about the banquet. I didn't know what Teacher of the Year entailed because nobody had worn it on my campus while I was there. I don't know about previously, but while I was there, nobody had. So I didn't know what it entailed. So anyway, I got Teacher of the Year my third year of teaching, 2015, I believe. And then 2017, I decided to start my business. But this was something that had been in my heart for so long. I had talked to my friend Angie about it for so long, and then go back to life. But my last year of teaching, I would drive to work crying every morning, telling God, why are you putting this in my heart? I'm okay teaching. I'm okay. I'm fine. Like, stop. It just... And so I'd go to work crying because I just felt like I need to get out. I need to get out. So when I decided to leave teaching and start my own business. So in the summer of 2017, I set up my household. I was going to do it in a room. I mean, it was just figuring it all out and filling out forms to send to state. Got my license, got inspected. First inspection went great. Fire marshal came, everything went great. So that's how I started my Little Texas Techies business.
So as we're talking through you being a hero, I think one of the things that I can say is, it sounds like you realize you're a hero. I know that I feel like you're a hero, but do you think being a hero for you has been luck? Because, some of the things I can say, it may be luck, it may be hard work, but what do you think? Do you think you're a hero by luck, or do you think that you've had to work at it?
Well, I've had to work hard at it. I've had to work very hard. I'm my worst critic because every time I accomplish something, I think, that was not hard. Like one, what took you so long? And two, you can do more. So I've had to work very hard. Of it, hindsight is 20/20. When you look back, you see it very clearly. So when I always look back, I always see that was a piece of cake. But when I'm going through it, it's not. So in reality, I've had to work very hard to get where I am today, and also making the decision to quit a good job. I felt like my teaching career was winning with the school district was going very well. To make that was a hard.
Yeah, and I think for me, when you talked about working at it, I think when you're saying hindsight 20/20, that was so easy. Why do you think it was so hard? I feel like you need to give value to yourself of understanding that it's hard. Even the thing that people think is easy, even when people see an easy thing, they need to realize even the mental capacity to step in and say, I'm going to do that. Like yesterday, and I know whenever this airs, it won't be yesterday, but whenever y'all listen to this, just yesterday, I had the pleasure of experiencing a graduation ceremony of little Texas Techies. And I can tell you that I have 3 children. One is not in kindergarten yet, but my 2 other ones, I have not experienced another kindergarten graduation like that. And we're going through COVID-19. And my sister here was like asking me after, was that enough? I don't think I did enough. Guys, it was amazing. She had lawn signs for each child graduating. They had graduation cap on. They had pictures taken. They had cupcakes. They had gifts, physical gifts. There was just so much stuff going on, and I was so proud. I was literally there to take pictures and to just make sure that this was documented, and I felt I was in the perfect position because I was standing back watching this shining light give a speech and inspire her kids. And Annie, I have to tell you, the work you did by yourself yesterday, you need to know that people don't experience that even at regular schools. Do you know that? No,
well, speaking of that, when I started Texas Techies, I told myself that it was not going to be a regular school.
Yeah.
I was not, yeah. I told myself my parents are not going to experience a regular school. Yeah, I'm going to educate the kids. Yeah, we're going to do learning our ABCs and learning. One thing that I always pride myself is that my kids need to leave reading. My students need to leave reading. They might not, depending on when they join me, but for the most part, most of them have. They've left me reading. But I don't think that that's what's important. I think it's important for a parent to go to work and know without an inkling, without a doubt, that whatever happens throughout the day here, that their child will be my number one priority. And I always tell them that whenever I interview, I do an interview with my parents, I finish off with letting them know that their child, if they choose to join my program, their child is my number one priority. And yeah, granted, I have 8, but their child is my number one priority. If, hey, I didn't bring my kid's blanket today, you don't worry about it. Your child is good. Hey, if my child spilled this on them and they don't have underwear or they don't have a shirt, don't worry, it's taken care of. Hey, my child's comfort blanket stinks like a dog. I'll wash it. All these things have happened. And one thing that I've heard a parent say is, thank God this is not a regular daycare. Because I want my parents to have an experience, honestly, that I did not have.
And you some mean extent, your own child in daycare?
Say that again?
And you mean in terms of putting your own child in daycare, the experience you had?
Yes. Pictures. I try my best. It's not easy, especially when you're thinking about activities and learning. I always meet with my kids one-on-one on a daily basis. It's exhausting. Some days I don't do it. If I feel like, I met with Juliana yesterday and the day after that and the day after that, sometimes I'll say, okay, so maybe I'll give her a break today. But I do my best to meet with every child one-on-one every single day to figure out where they are in their academics. And what's funny is if I don't meet with a child, I'm like, wow, how come I didn't get to meet with you today? Yeah, and I think to myself, they don't want to meet with me because we're learning, and it has to be a fun experience. I don't.
On your website, you say we play, learn, and grow together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so going back to your question, to it being, to me saying it's not a regular daycare, that's what I want my parents to experience that. And I want my children also to have a love for learning. That's also another thing. I want them to want to come. I always want my students to want to come to school. And I tell my parents, hey, I might not be the fit for your child. So there's other places, obviously, that you can go to if this is not a fit for you. Like I said, at first, your child is my number one priority. So if me and your child don't mesh, no feelings hurt, because first of all, you need to be your child's number one advocate. My feelings won't be hurt because I told you your child is my number one priority. And if this is not the right place for them, then we need to figure out where the right place is for them.
Yeah, I agree. And so in terms of thinking about the type of person who can be the type of educator as you are, you know, because when you're telling me that you're meeting with the kids every day, and it seems like, you know, we haven't even touched on the technology that you use in teaching the kids, right? So the assumption here may be that it's all workbooks and it's all coloring and stuff, but you have computer there. And so the kids, from the moment they come in they're like learning how to use technology, and not for games, right? So it's measuring their skills. I just want to find out from you, in terms of the positive energy that it seems you're injecting into the teaching field, how can a teacher maintain this energy? Because you've been doing this for a while, and it seems like you're still continuing to have this positive outlook on, you're not just checking boxes, you're having an impact in kids' lives. How do you regenerate that? How do you keep yourself fresh for that?
Rewarding, like you had said in the beginning. One, it's rewarding. When you're going through it, you're like, but when you see that and when you see the results in your children, that will make you think, I'm going to do that again. Number one. Number two is loving what you do. I honestly love what I do. I do. At the end of the day, when I'm laying down and when I'm tired, or when I'm trying to figure out my lesson plans for tomorrow, I love what I do. I know I take care of children, but I also love for my parents to leave knowing that they're kids. I love for my parents to leave happy. I do. That just makes me so happy when a parent is content and is satisfied with what I've provided for their child. So that's what drives me. Do I get paid for what I do? I do get paid for what I do. Have there been times when I haven't gotten paid for what I do? Yeah, there's times when I haven't gotten paid for what I do. And guess what? I do the same thing for each one. I have a child who was not attending because of COVID, but I invited them to the graduation because they're more than just a paycheck, and they're more than just a number on my roster.
Yeah.
You know, once a techie, always a techie.
That's right.
Once a little techie, always a little techie.
Oh, that's fantastic. So imagine yourself 5 to 10 years from now. What do you see?
5 to 10 years from now, I see a school. I see a preschool with 4 rooms or 3 or 5 rooms. For sure, I want a technology room, and I want a science, art, and a exploring room where the kids can just be messy and dirty and explore. But I also want a computer room. I want a technology room where they're able to do things like build robots or build, and obviously at their age level, coding. And they can do those in their classrooms, but I'm talking about a different room where we can just be hands-on, be hands-on creative. And then the other 2 rooms are their learning rooms and whatnot. I envision that. I envision a bright classrooms where there's lots of noise and lots of learning and socializing happening. I can see it. I can see it. I can envision it. So 5 to 10 years from now, that's my dream, is to have that, is to have a place where kids cannot wait to come to.
And Annie, what would you tell others who want to be heroes?
Gosh, to go for it. I say dig deep within yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be ready to work hard and to go for it. It's not easy. You're going to have doubts. I have doubts every single day about my choices, about the smallest things, about what I've said, but to go for it. And when you're done, you'll be happier than ever before. And just know that once you achieve something, you're going to keep wanting to achieve more and more and more. So be ready for that, because the taste of success is extremely sweet. So you know what I mean? And it's like it's so addictive. It's so addictive. And also I would also like to say is, one, I struggle with this. I don't do this, but I should, is enjoy the journey. Right? Enjoy the journey. Stay present in the moment while you're going through it. And if you mess up, you mess up. I have that also. That's another default where I don't want to mess up, and I don't do things because I don't want to mess up. And I think I was telling you this yesterday. I tend to not do things because I don't want to mess up. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to. My brain is telling me things. So mess up. And if you mess up, you learn from that, and next year you're going to do it different.
Mm-hmm. So you're making me laugh, because I was sharing with you a mess up, which we're not going to mention right now, which, everybody messes up, right? We all mess up, and it could be an epic, fail that ends up changing your life, so you don't know. That mess up, maybe, what do they say? You're setting yourself up for a comeback. It's a setback for a comeback, so even if you mess up, it's okay. You'll come back into your powerness, your powerfulness. So
and you know what? Kids don't have that fear. So instill that dream getting thing into your kids. Real quick before we finalize is, I want to say I have two girls, and they have they're two completely different humans. They're beautiful, they're intelligent, but they're two completely different humans. I was athletic in school. I was a sports person. I loved playing sports. And I want my kids to play sports, but I have to tell myself, find what they love and invest in that. So if they love art, invest in that. If they love technology, invest in that. If they love to play on the iPad, figure out how to invest in that. So find what you love and invest in that, but do it early, especially if you have kids. Do it early, and then, because kids don't have fear. Kids have a very little what's that conscience that we have, that fear that when we mess up, we're scared what our friends are going to say. Kids don't really have that. So early on, allow your kids to be who they are, and let them explore and take risks, basically. Yeah.
Now, one of the questions that I didn't ask you, and I'm probably just going to cut this in, is what has been your biggest challenge in your life?
My biggest challenge in my life, low self-esteem, I have to say. It's hard, and I say that, gosh, it's so funny. I want to laugh because I don't find myself to have low self-esteem, because I'm the type of person that I don't need people to tell me, oh, you look good, or I don't. But when I say look, I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about achievements, I don't find myself to be, I guess, being the last one out of 6. I got everything done for me. And so therefore, I always think of myself as little old Annie, that just has to rely on others, Mommy, Lisa, Jerry, Wakafa. I have to rely on others to help me out. And so that has been my biggest downfall. It's taken me a while to, one, accept it, and one, to know that that's what my biggest downfall is low self-esteem when it comes to achieving things. I never think I've done things. I never think I'm good enough.
Even after winning, we are citizens here of 300,000 people. So you won Teacher of the Year for elementary school, right?
Yes.
So that is real world validation, right? So, people always say that if you're a hero, you shouldn't wait for the world to recognize you. You should just be a hero, Even behind closed doors, you should continue being a hero for yourself. But I can tell you, Annie, just to validate you, that Yes, you're the last born. That's what you say yourself. But we call you the baby, the baby of the house. But you're such a shining light. In fact, I mean, you know how anything I'm trying to do, who do I contact for advice? It's you, right?
Yes.
So you need to know that that you have what you're going through as one of your challenges is your strength. Maybe I don't know whether I've said that the right way, but maybe it's the fact that you have a reality check lens on when you're looking at things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that this show can be an opportunity for you to see that you are powerful and you have done amazing things and you continue to do amazing things, you know?
Yes. I want to leave a legacy where I change people's lives and I change people's lives and I have an impact on their future. And so that's what I really, really want. And I also have my own kids that I would like for my children to have that in them when they go out in the world. I want them to love people as well when they go out in the world. I know it's hard and I don't want them to be naive, but at the same time, I do want my children to learn to love people because I've heard this said so many times, especially I think because of COVID, that we're made for human contact. Mm-hmm. We're made to interact with each other. We're not solos. We're not supposed to be by ourselves.
We're social beings.
We're social beings, exactly. Yeah. So I'm hoping that, and I pray every day that my children find people in their lives that they can trust, and that they can share experiences with. So that's my dream and my hope for my children.
So Annie, how can people get in touch with you?
You can find me on Facebook at Little Texas Techies Academy, and all my information is there.
Awesome. And I know you have a website, littletexastechies.com, and if anybody wants to find out more about Annie, you know how to reach her. If you want to find out more about the Power Up hero we just interviewed, go to our podcast page, which is poweruphero.org. And if you want to tell us your story, visit poweruphero.org. We want you on the show. We want your positive attitude, your commitment to being a hero in our community. And again, that website is poweruphero.org. I am so excited for you to be joining me on this podcast journey so you can power up your life to live to your fullest potential. Once again, I'm Lisa Wisner. Be sure to subscribe to Power Up Hero on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Stitcher, everywhere and anywhere you tune in to your podcasts. We hope you will be educated, inspired, and encouraged to be a hero for the community that we serve, for the teams that we serve with, for the families and friends that we come in contact with, for our own careers, for ourselves, because the world needs heroes today more than ever before. Make it a powered up day. Since 2010, PowerUp.org has been dedicated to giving the gift of education by ensuring that all children, especially those at risk of being left behind, have the resources and the opportunities they need to grow up healthy and live productive lives. We want to remind listeners that the information provided in this show is strictly for informational purposes and is not intended as a substitute for advice from a professional. Some content contains discussions of traumatic health experiences. If you need support at any time, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK or text HOME to 741-741. During this time of social distancing and self-quarantine, we hope that listening to heroic stories and optimizing ideas can help us feel more connected to each other. Our mission of eliminating technology poverty through education is fulfilled by you.
We reach over 5,000 students each year, and we are able to reach more because of your help. Teaching technology and life skills is a game changer for our future. And by listening to this show, you are helping us continue to fund our work with students, educators, and community partners around the globe. Visit PowerUp.org to find out how you are helping bridge the digital divide. From all of us, we hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy.